Hey beautiful people, I want to talk to you all about 4 really important things as it relates to the event and wedding industry, but also other industries that really, deal with these 4 things. The first thing is that all of us talk about having the opportunity to be in the room in spaces where we normally would not have an opportunity to be in because of whatever factors. Over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about how the white wedding and event industry has hindered us from being in that room, but I want to go a little bit deeper into that. In many cases, there are black people in that room, and sometimes it may be one black person that is in that room. And what I find to be a little disappointing is that, one, if you have a black person in the room that other black people should be in, that black person should be doing whatever he or she needs to do in order to help bring other black people into the room. What is so disheartening is when I come into a room and there is one other black person in that room, and all of a sudden they feel as if I don't exist. Like, they feel as if I'm hindering on their territory as the token black person. And I want you all to understand that that's not the case. We all deserve to be in every single room that there is, regardless of the industry. So if you find yourself as the only black person in a specific room, it is really up to you to make sure that you bring other people. Because you know what? History has taught us that someone has paved the way for someone else. We are not here simply by our own dealings, our own work, our own efforts. There's always been someone that has paved the way for you to be where you are. So it makes no sense for you to not want to return that favor and help other people get into the room. So that's the first point I want to make. The next point I want to make is that as I've seen over the last couple of weeks efforts to support the black industry, I have also seen bait and switch mindsets. And so what that is I've seen people mask themselves as black owned businesses that are wanting to be able to support whomever, mainly themselves, mask themselves to get money for their business. So these are people who are not black owned business owners, but they are reaping the rewards of what is going on right now to support black owned businesses. And I believe that is just, it just is mind boggling that people would actually even do this. So I say to you is that if you are going to support a black owned business, make sure that it is a black owned business. Of course, you can support whomever you want, but what I don't want to see is people taking advantage of what's going on right now just to fill their pockets. And it's evil, to have someone mask themselves as a black owned business and they really aren't black owned businesses. They're selling t-shirts, they're raising money for organizations and everything else, and they're not who they say they are. So make sure you're trustworthy and make sure you guys do your research for who you decide to support. So that's my second thing. My third thing is that as we navigate through diversity and inclusion, I want you to understand what the difference is between a hookup and a handout, right? And so one, no one should be asking for a hookup. And I don't care what industry you are. I don't care how well you know someone or anything like that. A hookup is me going to your business and asking you for, like, hey, I need a discount. I need a discount on your product or your service because we know each other like that. We're cool like that. And while that may be the case, if I'm cool with you, and if you're my friend, then I should be willing to pay a little bit more than everybody else because I believe in you. I want to invest in your product or your service. So listen, as you go out there and you're supporting black-owned businesses or whomever, make sure you're not asking for a hookup. Stop asking people to give you stuff for free when you've done nothing to deserve that hookup. And for a handout, none of us should be asking for a handout. None of us. We all have to do the work. in order to get to where we are. No one is going to just drop blessings from trees for you because you are whoever it is that you are. Yes, you deserve this and so much more, but you have to do the work. Handouts are not just going to be abundant. We have to be able to do the work in order to get to where we want to be. And people are simply lazy and they don't want to do that work, but they're here. I'm fresh. Oh, I want to be an event planner, or I want to be a florist, but I need you to, give me this handout or help me to get into these spaces and these rooms. And I've done nothing to deserve to be in these spaces and these rooms. There's plenty of people who have done the work that deserve to be in spaces, and you are now coming in and trying to get a handout. For what reason? So make sure you guys, if you're out there and you're trying to start a business and you're working in your business, there are steps to take in order to get to where you deserve to be. Now that's really important for you to understand. And my last thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about competition. I hate the term community over competition because I think it's a false statement. I believe that it does not represent the industry that we are in. And I'm being honest. There are plenty of people that see everybody as competitors. And you know what? That's okay. But I think that we have to be truthful in how we say community over competition, because this community is competitive. It will always be competitive. You will never see someone that is always giving to someone that does the same thing that they do. That just doesn't happen. And it's okay to support people that do what you do. By all means you can, but your goal is not always going to be to support them always. But I would say this, is that if you are in a position where you can give business to someone, then refer that person to that potential client. We can't do everything. I can't have dozens of celebrity clients and believe that I can take them all on myself. And if I can't, my job as an ambassador of change is to refer to someone else who I know is capable of executing that job. What it hinders, if I'm going to be the person that says, you know what, I can't do this job, and guess what, I don't care that if you find somebody else, I'm not going to help you find someone else. That's selfish, and that doesn't help to support this whole community over competition mindset. But I believe that we have to understand that it is not about us. Our job in this industry, regardless if you are a planner, a baker, a designer, a photographer, a florist, you are in a position or industry that is built on service, period. And if you can't offer service, then you should be willing to refer somebody else who can do the job. The clients are our biggest asset, not you, not me. And so if we're here and we always have the mindset of, oh, this is my competitor, I'm not going to help my competitor, I'm not going to do anything to help benefit this industry because everybody's out to get the client, everybody's not your client. And if you don't understand that, if you feel that everybody's your competitor, then guess what? You don't know your ideal client. You don't have a great client avatar to begin with. So I just wanted to share these things. Again, it comes from my heart. I'm not here to bash anybody, but I'm here to put a little bit in your head to think about and consider, because as we go through this movement, as we go through these changes on how we're shaking up the event and wedding industry, all of us, regardless of skin color, have to do some internal work to make sure that whatever the phase is after this is going to be inclusive of us all. But we have to be ambassadors of change in order to see the differences that we're striving for.